What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another very exciting episode right here on the MIgardener channel. In today's episode, I'm going to share with you one of the scariest things that has ever happened to us in the garden. That's right, one of the scariest things that has ever happened to us in the garden. Now, a lot of you, when you have kids, you prepare the house for their arrival. You make sure that there are no plastic bags lying around, that there's no choking hazards, things that they could wrap around their neck, things they could stick their finger into, like light sockets or power outlets. And you really prepare the home for their arrival so that they have a safe space for them to grow and to thrive. And for us as parents, Mrs. MIgardener and I really value time out in the garden. And for us, spending time out in the garden with our daughter has been very enriching, but also really incredible for her development. And one thing that really opened our eyes to sharing this story was just the really heartbreaking stories that you hear about kids that accidentally eat poisonous mushrooms. Now, this story was just brought on my news feed. I had seen it scrolling through Facebook, and it really just kind of woke me up to the reality that this does need to be talked about, because it's something that happened to us, actually. And before you go down to the comments box and call Child Protective Services, I just want to let you know that we do our very best, and we're only human. Mistakes can happen, oversights can be made, but the reason why I'm sharing this with you is so that you can better child-safe your garden. It's something that I never really thought I'd ever have to say, child-proofing your garden. Because for me, there's nothing more childlike than coming out in the garden and being amazed at the wonderment of a garden. So it was early spring, and we were out here planting out the garden, and in early spring, you get a lot of rainfall. And we have as you can tell, we have a wood chipped walkway. All of that rainfall plus all the wood chips led to a mushroom bloom. And mushrooms they're basically just about everywhere, but they love rotting debris. They love rotting wood. And a lot of times, during the early season, you have mushroom blooms. And I did not even give it a second of thought. And this was about 3 years ago. Geneva was about 2.5 years old or so. And we were just out planting. And Geneva, because we eat very healthy, we pride ourselves in having a really well-rounded diet and feeding our daughter the same foods. Not making a bunch of boxed garbage, but giving her the same food that we're eating, and that includes vegetables from the garden, fruits from the garden, but also vegetables and not really vegetables, but fungus, fungi, like mushrooms. And so she has grown up eating mushrooms, and she saw a mushroom and was able to identify the mushroom and actually consumed it without us knowing. The only reason why we even knew was because she walked up to us and said, "Mushroom, mushroom." And we said, "Oh, you found a mushroom, don't eat it." And she said, I did. And instantly panic set in. We went around looking. We hunted the whole garden. Where is it? Where was the mushroom that she ate? Where, obviously she consumed it, but where? What was it? Was there more that we could identify? What did she consume? Because there are poisonous mushrooms. There are many poisonous mushrooms out there, and there are also many non-poisonous mushrooms. But we didn't know what she had eaten. And obviously, general rule of thumb is if you do not know how to identify it, you do not eat it. And as a child, she just identified anything that looked like a mushroom as an edible mushroom. And so we instantly, before we even could find it, we contacted poison control. We said, our child has eaten a mushroom, which is the first thing you should do if this ever happens. Call poison control. They instructed us to induce vomiting, and they had us mix up it sounds crazy, but they had us mix up some hot water and mustard. And they had us force her to drink this hot water and mustard. What it made the stomach do was to start throwing up. And so we induced vomiting, got her to throw up, and went out into the garden and kept looking while Cindy took care of Geneva and monitored her for any sign of change in color, heartbeat, just keeping attentiveness. And she was just fine in there, just playing. And I came out here and I did find the patch of mushrooms that she was playing in. So I found a mushroom and I looked online And I looked for all these different indicators, and what I found is that she had consumed what's called ink cap, or common ink cap. And ink cap is a very common form of mushroom that forms in gardens, in wood chip walkways, and thankfully, it was not poisonous. Thankfully, the only way it can be poisonous is if you actually consume alcohol. So she had consumed a young ink cap mushroom, and once I found out about that, once I was able to positively ID the mushroom, there was an immense amount of relief. But it also served as an incredible learning experience for not only us, but also for us to teach Geneva that we're very lucky to be able to have this garden to eat from, to grow food, but with it also comes the potential that not everything that grows in this garden is going to be edible. And so it really led us on a journey of teaching her more about, the stuff that we grow and the stuff that we don't eat, and just being a part of nature. And it's been actually a really, really good learning experience, but it was also very humbling and very scary. And so that was the story, obviously. But now I want to share with you some ways that you can child-proof your garden. All right, so the first thing that you want to do is you want to look for, obviously, as I talked about, mushrooms. Mushrooms are, I think, one of the largest dangers that exist in the garden, because they can be just about anywhere. If you have old stumps that you have filled in with fill dirt, those stumps can rot underneath the fill dirt and can actually bloom mushrooms. If you bring in things like wood chip mulch, wood chips can breed mushrooms, just like the ink cap mushroom and many other mushrooms as well. So also, if you have wood beds, like these wood beds here, over time they will deteriorate, and they can grow many other types of fungus as well. Now, luckily, most children, and I can't say this as across the board, but I think most children identify mushrooms that look like the ones they eat, if they do eat mushrooms. And so if your child does eat mushrooms, more than likely they're going to go for things that look like portobello mushrooms, or like the grocery store mushrooms, right? So a lot of the mushrooms that will grow on like the edges of raised beds are going to be more like orange in color. They might be more like slimy, things like that. So it is just a general rule of thumb, though, that anything that can rot, anything that can deteriorate, you want to do a regular walkthrough before your child actually does enter the garden, because you want to make sure that you walk the garden to make sure that there's no mushrooms. Because if there are, mushrooms are a good, healthy part of the environment, but if they're not old enough to know what is edible and what is not in a garden, or they're not old enough to really understand not to eat this, eat this mushroom, it's better to just kind of kick it over, leave the root system intact of the mushroom, leave all of that, because that actually helps to break down and create healthy soil. But just dispose of the mushroom, throw it in the compost pile, just get it away. And that usually happens after rain falls. Usually cool mornings, lots of rain, or in the fall with cool mornings and lots of rain is when you're going to see mushrooms. So knowing the times at which they bloom and also walking the garden can help you to identify those and just kind of make it a little safer. The second way that you can child-proof your garden is by watching out for sharp tools. Now, I don't think it's any mystery when you have things like pruners and scissors, that if you have these around, it's best to make sure that you don't just leave them on the ground. I'm certainly someone that I've left my pruners on the ground. I left my microtip snips on the ground. I've left my hori on the ground, which has a very sharp blade. And after thinking about this episode and just kind of how to child-proof your garden, I wanted to kind of just reflect on some of the ways that I could have just been a little more cautious. Now, not overly cautious, not like, worrying myself into a tizzy, but just making sure that, that my garden is a place that is safe for my child, because I don't want to ever create an environment that's unsafe that could create a traumatic experience that would cause her not to want to come back into the garden and spend time with me. So, putting away tools and stuff like that is just really important. Making sure that rakes are face down. I'm someone that, I will admit, I definitely leave rakes with the facing up. It's not only dangerous for you, but it's dangerous for a kid as well. And so, making sure that rakes and stuff are pointed down as well, that could flick up and hit them in the head, or poke their foot. Really, really important. And then finally, I think the one that really hits home is chemicals. Now, one of the biggest reasons why we grow organically is because I do not want there to be any chemicals around. However, if you're someone that grows with things like synthetic fertilizers, or if you're using lots of pesticides and fungicides, herbicides, things like that, even if you're someone that uses like Roundup, like on weeds and stuff, I don't grow that way, but I'm not going to shame you if you do. That's just your way of gardening. But it is extremely important that the things you have around your garden, that you fertilize your garden or spray in your garden, making sure that those are locked away and out of reach of any children. Just like in the home, things like laundry detergents and cleaners and stuff should be either locked up or put up high. The same exact thing happens in the garden as well. Making sure that in your tool sheds or just even out and about, that your kids cannot access those, because as soon as they start putting their fingers in their mouth and touching things, those can be very harmful and very dangerous. But other than that, there's not a ton of massive dangers in the garden. There are some insects you want to be careful of as well. Knowing insects in your area is another thing, because we also this is a natural environment. And I can't say that that this is going to be free of things like centipedes. Centipedes can leave a very nasty bite. Spiders, making sure that they're, obviously you can't prevent spiders, and spiders are important. Spiders are important, but just kind of making sure that that those things before you just let your child just run out into the garden can be helpful, and how to identify harmful spiders and harmful insects, and letting your children also be aware of those things, so that if they do see them, they don't fear them, they just keep a distance. And also, I know that in other parts of the United States, there are plenty of things like, very dangerous spiders or snakes, even things like scorpions down in Arizona. Any warm, arid place could have scorpions. So just keep that in mind, that, there are certainly regionally insects insects or animals that you might want to keep an eye out for, and just kind of know how to identify them, know where they might be, keeping things like leaf piles and stuff cleaned up, places where they might hide. Those are things that you want to be mindful of as a parent, because you want this place to be safe, but it can absolutely have some dangers as well. So all that being said, this is not, again, intended to scare you or to stop you from bringing your children out into the garden. This is just obviously a PSA, because it was brought about from a really, really scary situation that luckily had a good ending. But there are many stories where there's not happy endings, and it's so sad and so unfortunate. And I just wanted to bring this out to all of you, because I think a lot of people, if it happened to them, they might feel ashamed. They might feel like they did something wrong, and you didn't do anything wrong. These things exist in a garden. We just have to be more mindful of it. We have to be more careful of just keeping our eye on our children, and knowing where they're at and some of the dangers that could be around them. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned something new. As always, this is Luke from the MIgardener channel, reminding you to grow big or go home. Have fun in the garden, and we'll catch you all on the next episode. All right, take care, guys. Bye.